Chinoye Aliyu, President, Nigerian Aquatic Federation, and also a commission member of Delta State Sports Commission.
You're welcome. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Can I have Moyo Ogunseinde?
Good afternoon, everyone. Good
Good
afternoon, Mr. Aliyu. Good afternoon, Aderoju. Good afternoon, Beverly. It's a pleasure to be on this platform. So my name is Moyo Ogunseinde. I'm majorly a real estate developer and been thrust into sports. I am involved in sports through various capacities. First capacity is I am the designer founder of Upbeat Recreation Center, the first trampoline gymnastics center in West Africa, as well as being the chairperson of Lagos State Gymnastics Association, as well as I was also formerly on the board of Lagos State Sports Trust Fund and a member of the Gymnastics Federation of Nigeria. So I'm here to share my insight from the perspectives, platforms I sit on. Thank you.
Awesome, amazing. You can see we've gone the lengths to get some amazing women on this panel. Aderoju, do you want to introduce yourself? I know you've been with us on day one, but please, for the benefit of those who didn't get to meet you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so glad to be on this panel, and well done, Amaka. This is, again, great job, day two, and it's been very insightful, very, very insightful. Well done. My name is Aderoju Ope-Ajayi. I'm the founder and lead instructor of Dolphin Aquatic Center and Dolphin Swim School. We're the first of its kind swim school in Nigeria, teaching women and children, and we're a team of female instructors. I have my president of the Nigerian Aquatics Federation here. We are basically in the art of, teaching people life-saving skills in swimming. I also sit on the board of the Lagos State Swimming Association. I'm the vice chair, and I'm also advisory board member of the International Swim Schools Association and also part of the United States Swim Schools Association. So yes, I'm very excited to be here to talk about gender bias and discrimination in sports.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so just opening up the conversation. Typically, the representation of women in positions of leadership in the corporate world already were underserved. So in the sports world, it's even worse. I don't have the exact figures, but when you look around all the various bodies from gymnastics to football, tennis, swimming, it goes on. Women are largely underserved. And what's the reason for that? I don't want to even imagine that it's because we don't have competent women. We do, clearly, or women who are interested in the sport. So what would I'm throwing this out to, let me start with Mrs. Aliyu. What is the reason why for so many years women have been held back? Are we being held back deliberately? Is it I don't want to imagine it's an agenda by the men. And is it because we're too shy? I mean, what is the reason why women, for all these years, in sports particularly, have not come forward? You can unmute. You can unmute. Yes. Okay.
I would say this is due to a lot of reasons. First, finance. The financial support. It's more, I would say there's a big disparity between the male and the female sports people. The men are more funded in Nigeria or all over the world. Like during our competitions in football, at least that one is open to everybody to see. The men get 75 million and the women get 10 million.
Wow.
There's a great disparity in that. And then the moral support and the backup is not there. The viewer disparity is there. Endorsement disparity is there. So from the onstart, the women are not mobilized. even like I said, it's all over the world. You know, the Megan, the captain of
Yes,
American Soccer.
Rapino. Yes.
Yes, you see, she was fighting that day. They were celebrating them in New York, and she kept talking about it. You know, they don't pay them the way they pay the men. They are not celebrated the way they celebrate the men. And for the first time, they were even celebrating the women in New York. And when the Nigerian women do so well, at the point they were the only people doing well. When they arrive, that celebration is not there. You know, sometimes they're not even well received at the airport. You know, one of our female swimmers returned to Nigeria, and the airport people did not acknowledge her. And up till now, they're still holding her passport.
Wow.
The immigration, your COVID this, your this, your that. You know, she was not even encouraged that she has gone to represent Nigeria and she is coming back to the country. So I would say, you know, it's not fair. But I'm going to now congratulate you because on this panel, we have 13 men, 8 women on this summit. You have done well.
Thank you.
We've not even talked of equalization now, but at least you are bridging the gap.
Trying to.
And so we need to bridge the gap. I was chairman of karate. I was chairman of the female football team. And I just see a lot of discrimination. I mean, disparity. It's not, the treatment is not the same. The attitude is not the same. Thank you. Let other people also make their input.
Okay, Moyo, I'm going to bring you into this conversation. You're doing quite a bit. You're not only on the regulatory side, even private sector side. You know, as founder of West Africa's first gymnastics trampoline center. You know, what challenges have you faced? You know, as a woman. I mean, I know there's that tendency that people make you feel like don't just use your gender as an excuse. But you can't help but feel, well, I don't want to use it as an excuse, but if it really is a barrier, then why can't we get why are people pretending that it's not a real barrier? So do you want to just give us some of your experiences and share?
For me, I mean, what it is because of the way I entered the industry, I entered by way of coming from, you know, providing platforms. It was a real estate thing. I didn't really see it as, I didn't know what was going on in the industry. I mean, I'm construction, we have those biases, but there's so many women in the real estate industry that, you know, coming into another industry, I didn't see, I didn't know, I didn't expect what, you know, that was the problem. But having been in, and you're like, I'm the only woman in this room. I'm one or two. And then you realize that even in conversations, being one or two, the conversations start to have a different balance. You know, it starts to be skewed because you're you know, you're a minority, and the perspectives and some of the things we'll discuss are just from a specific angle and not dimensional, multidimensional, or I wouldn't say women are more, you know, but we have a different way of seeing things.
Yeah.
So having seen it now, I recognize that, you know, I have a responsibility to actually bring more people in because I have experienced the fact that being a minority has its issues. And so what it is for me is, you know, I think it's about us creating opportunities for others to come in, creating it from two different aspects, from the early stage and the stage at which we're at, our peers, introducing, showing them that it's possible. You know, these are the opportunities that are available, helping, opening doors, but from a younger age, you know, empowering them, you know, because I think the problem is as younger women, girls, they're not empowered with the resources, the skills, opportunities, so that by the time they even get to this level, they feel supported, as Mrs. Aliyu said, that I can stay, either financially, I can stay, I can improve my skills, I can. being given the resources, skills, and opportunity to actually, enter the field at an older age. Have conferences like this. We shouldn't only have one like this, Beverly. Thank you. We should have 10 like this if we're able to groom them when they're younger.
Yeah, yeah, nice. Okay. Aderoju, moving on to you now, as someone in the swimming sector, would
Yeah.
you say you've encountered some similar experiences like Moyo and Mrs. Aliyu? What's your experience been like?
I think it's not exempt, even dependent on the sports. As long as you're a sports person, you are definitely disadvantaged by gender. There's been many trainings I've attended, and with the ratio of men to women is the disparity is huge. And there's always one particular one I talk about, and we're in a room of almost 60 people, and we were just 5 female. And
Wow.
out of the 5 female, 3 were from Dolphin, and 2 were from, and for me, I was just like, okay, there's work to be done. And just exactly as Moyo said, it's now creating opportunities for other women to know that, look, I can do this regardless of whatever trials I'm facing. So what we try to do at Dolphin is we're very female focused. Again, we're a female team. We're almost 15 instructors, and we're all female, right? So we also have a program where we get women or ladies who can't swim and want to be instructors, water safety instructors, swim teachers. We give them the opportunity to come in and learn, and then go and, spread the word, because really we need more female instructors. The ratio of male to female instructors in swim is very, very, very large. It's and unfortunately, due to our cultural and religious preferences in this country, most people are just generally more comfortable with female instructors. So there's that gap that is not being filled, because you find when we talk to some of our students, they're saying, I will not learn how to swim with a man. My husband will not let me get a male instructor. I don't trust to have a male instructor to teach my girl child how to swim. So all those things are gaps that we need to fill, because if we don't fill them, then we're not empowering people with a life-saving skill. So it's a cycle that needs to be addressed very, very quickly.
Fine. And, I'm just going to make some connections from some conversations we had in panels yesterday around this lack of infrastructure issue. Infrastructure is a major issue that affects sports in Nigeria. And when you have certain specialized sports like swim, gymnastics, does that not further create those I would say the disparity? It doesn't encourage people who would ordinarily say, oh, I would love to try trampolining or gymnastics or swim, and now they can't, by virtue of where they live. Perhaps they have a far distance to travel, or yes, there's a cultural barrier and it might take a bit of cajoling, but they're not encouraged because they have such a far distance. So I don't know, passing this over now to Mrs. Aliyu again, as the recently instituted president of the Aquatic Federation. How do we make swimming more attractive? How do we get more women and girls? In fact, forget women and girls, just think Nigerians in general. There's a fear of water. There's a fear when we're just for a coastal country, we kind of have a fear. Oh, apart from the riverine people that can swim quite well. What would the federation like yours and many others be doing to help? Well, we've got these infrastructural challenges and we have to kind of work with it. So what would you do to try and just help bridge that gap, encourage? We're talking everyone. We're not talking elitism here. We're not talking only certain parts of Nigeria, Lekki, yeah, but we're talking, how can we realistically include more people across the country, realistically, in sports, particularly swim?
What we have done in our federation, we've put a lot of committees in place. Like we do have school sports. We have school sports committee. So if all the schools, where there is water, look at Arugungu Fishing Festival. We have focused on that. There is this thing they call open swimming. And we do go to Senegal every year to do open swimming competition. And FINA, the world governing body, has developed that facility in Senegal. So we are now making efforts to develop the Argungu Fishing Festival to extend into that open swimming. So once a while, when people go for Argungu Fishing Festival, it may be immediately after their own festival or before, we'll now do open water swimming. It's a world recognized competition. So that is a way to develop our own, what we have already, what God has given us, those infrastructure. Then where I come from in Delta State, the reason why we have like a factory of swimmers, because we have a river. So all the places where they have river or naturally endowed, water infrastructure given by God, we should develop and encourage and sensitize the people and send coaches to those places. We don't have to limit it to elitists, because our aging swimmers, those that cannot swim again, we are encouraging them, especially in Delta State, to do other things, like go into coaching, life-saving. I'm so glad to hear there's a life-saving center in Lagos. We will patronize them. The coaches are there, the infrastructure is there. So we train more people in life-saving. And there is sports medicine. There is 1 million things to do in sports.
Yes.
When you are no more, like now, most of these former footballers have become coaches.
Yes.
So in all the sports, let us encourage them to do sports medicine. They can do masseur, they can become doctors in sports. And then when they are no more in that, that's why we should also encourage these school sports. And from that time, start letting them know that when you pass that age of active sports, you have a future in sports. And sports is one big industry in the whole world. They have ready-made audience. So why are we going to let these are sportswomen and men rot when they can continue in that line of business, in that line of life? So there's a whole world in front of us in the world of sports. So we have to encourage people to finance sports women, because they can be more useful in future. Like if my husband does not allow a man to coach me, there's a coach that is a woman. There's a coach that is a lifesaver. There's a coach that knows sports medicine that is a female. So the women are going to continue to be useful. And even our masseurs can, be doing female masseurs can be trained. So, there's a whole world of opportunity for our sportsmen and women.
Yes.
And then building infrastructure, we should encourage for them to build more infrastructure in the rural communities where there is water already.
Yes. Valid points, ma'am. Valid points. Coming to you, Moyo, on what Mrs. Aliyu said about how do we need to train them. Are you doing anything because gymnastics is your thing, trampolining, those are quite specialist areas. Do you encourage, what's your ratio? Not putting anyone on the hot seat, but what do you do to train?
Our ratios ordinarily should be 50-50, but it comes with the limitations we have, because even for instance, Lagos State has this: for every competition, there has to be a female coach and a male coach.
Okay.
So for every, even trainings, but not at all times can the budget cover that. So what we have to do is we end up having to support the female coaches to ensure the female coach goes when the commission is not able to pay for the women to go. So it comes down to, as she rightfully said, training. But I think, again, the thing is awareness. You know, there has to be a general awareness of the career paths that are available. I think, you know, I sort of said I stumbled into it, but I think letting younger ladies know from an early age that there are different career paths that can take you to a career in sports over a long period of time. And I think that is part of what, you know, we're trying to develop career paths in sports and making that, making people very aware of that. Young girls, it's something that I'm actually quite passionate about. Young girls, because from my personal experience of my daughter, because she has a mother that is that she sort of thrust me into that industry somehow. Because of her gymnastics, I got thrust in here. But I'm able to show her, oh, that path is possible, that path is possible. And she's actually thriving and going to different sports and in, you know, advancing because of the fact that I have been able to show her the career path. So I think awareness of the career path is something that's very important and something that I'm personally developing and financially supporting female coaches.
Okay, her videos, the career paths that that Moyo has mentioned is actually critical, and it's something that I didn't get to speak on at length in yesterday's session. So I want to really dwell on that. Moyo, okay, I'm glad to have you back now. The career paths, I want to just go into that a little bit more. Do you think that's something that would require collaborating with, say, educational bodies? So the same way people go to university and they know, oh, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor, in fact, I want to be events, I want to do events. Do we need a lot more awareness about the careers options in sports, and we begin to have those like career fairs? We have sports bodies attending career fairs. So people say, oh, wow, I could be in media in a sports company. I could be a caterer in sports. I could be a masseuse, body, nutrition, etc. in sports. Is that something that your organization would look to? And then Aderoju, I'll come to you with that same question.
Certainly. The career paths are things that, as I said, are once developed, and they are taught at even, you know, having university students, and I think earlier actually, secondary school students, because that's the time when we're making those decisions. It's as simple as that. Funding career talks of the career paths, you know, that this is the value chain. And I am so blessed to have entered the industry. I've met people like you, you know, and seen that, wow, it's possible to even come from media. It's possible to come from infrastructure developers like me. It's possible to come from law, you know, the legal aspect. It's possible, but you can only become what you see. You know, you can only become what you see. If you don't see it, you won't do it. If you don't visualize it. And so it's something that, you know, where I'm personally working on and through just so that they can understand it. It seems quite simple, but it's until it's done, you know. But it is an initiative I'm working on.
Working on, amazing, and like kudos to you. Aderoju, for you, you've helped put Nigeria on the map. And I will explain how, which of course, for the sake of the audience, you know, you've been a grant awardee, and you know, in I think it was in Morocco, and you put Nigeria on the map in two ways: as a female in sports, representing swimming, and in a world where everybody is chasing fintech money, finance. To be awarded, you know, something decent in sport, you kind of opened the minds and inspired so many people. And invariably, women who are in leadership roles in sports as well. I would ask you, as a female leader in sports, how would you encourage more women to come into sports, and in you know, from your experience, how have you found it, and what would you advise to other women who want to become leaders in sports as well? How would they find their feet?
So, you know, thank you for that, because I think, again, as Moyo has said, it's more of you become what you see. So I remember when I transitioned fully into sports and, I introduced myself as a swim instructor. The first, I get a double take. I always get a double take, as in terms of what? What's that? What, you real for real? And then I find that even just doing that inspires people. And they're just like, wow, so you can actually have this career path to become a swim instructor. And, again, it also helped people redefine how they see swim instructors. Because, again, there's some sports that are just, very careful with my words now, but there are some sports that, when people are doing, they don't accord any form of honor to it, if I want to use that
Yes.
word. So people just generally look at lifeguards, they're just there, swim instructors, they're just
Yes.
there. But if they
Yes.
find that you are educated and not just well educated, you're thoroughly exposed, and yet you're choosing this career path, then the sky is the limit, and then people then see the possibilities and then understand how, okay, they can even do more in sports. For instance, I was having a conversation with someone yesterday. She's a lawyer. In fact, she has 10 businesses that she's doing, and she just told me, she said, I want to be doing something in sports. And and I mentioned sports administration. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I mentioned sports administration. Okay, I mentioned sport and administration. I'm like, you know what? You should be a sports administrator, because we need people that can, make all the running parts come together and work. And I said, I don't even know a lot of sports administrators. The only person I know is Mrs. Nkechi Obi, and we need a lot more. We need a lot more. And there's so many pathways in sports. But again, people can become what they see. So it's good that we're having these conversations. It's good that we're out there. We have our first female, president of Nigerian Aquatic Federation, which is amazing, because again, how long has the Aquatic Federation been in existence? Do you understand that? So it's a great thing, and we just need to come out of our shells. And I think us as women leaders in sports, we just need to come out a bit more, let people see what we're doing, and then encourage, these career talks, let people not be shy about what we do, basically.
Okay, I'm hearing mentoring,
Yes.
that theme is coming out. Okay, and just passing this back now to Mrs. Aliyu. It sounds like you started your career, correct me if I'm wrong, you're a commissioner at one point for women. Prior to that, you've had a bit of a run, in government, and that's quite a blessing, because for many people they just can't seem to get in. So what would you say to women who want to play a role in, whether it's in the commissioner's office, they just want to get involved in the administration of sports? That's actually going to be our last panel for this summit, to close off this summit. Administration is critical for a well managed, well run, well respected sports ecosystem. And we're happy that you're now in place to make those changes. But for people who still want to come in, especially women who will be discouraged, why do you want to do that? Oh, what would you say to people who are looking in that direction now, women especially?
First of all, in Nigeria, the men would not allow the women to enter. So you just have to have that perseverance and focus. If you like, I took even when I was Commissioner of Women Affairs, I was still doing sports. I was chairman of karate. So alongside, I was there. And believe me, when the women see a woman administrator, they get encouraged. So you are so right. We need more women administrators. And then when they see me, mommy is there, mommy is here to encourage us. This whole thing about sports excellence is encouragement. Talk. You can do it. Don't give up. Oh, you will be first. Oh, congratulations. They need a woman, even the men need a woman to be beside them. They feel more comfortable when their own mother is there beside them.
Yeah.
So I would say, first, let us be qualified. When you have gone to school, and these days, anytime I meet women, I encourage them to go to school and focus on sports. Like University of Port Harcourt, we have the center there where they focus on sports. If you
Okay.
go there, you can do sports medicine. You can
Okay.
do a lot of courses, coaching, and so on in sports. So when you go to University of Port Harcourt, I don't know of any other one, but I'm sure there are others in Nigeria and abroad too. I keep saying I just went to my school for nonsense, because if I had focused on sports in the United States, I
Yeah.
would have been more useful in Nigeria to our people. So let us do lecture like my colleagues are now telling me. Let us focus on education. Focus these women, like, she's already telling her daughter, you can do this, you can do that. So let us do in school sports. They should put it in the curriculum in the
Yes.
schools to
Yes.
let them know they can have this career path, and start putting it in the curriculum. So
Yeah.
we have our representatives in the National Assembly and in the state assemblies. Let us talk to our representatives. Please let them put it in the school curriculum, school sports. Yes, so that all these things, at least let them have a first-hand knowledge. Oh, I can study this in sports. I can study this in sports in my future.
Yes.
So let us focus on education.
Yes, and to your point, I hear there are plans, I'm not sure, to set up the first University of Sports. I mean, there's a bill being put forward. I'm sure that would make a lot of people very happy, because other than the NIS, the National Institute of Sports, which I think sits in Lagos, we don't really have, okay, then there's Port Harcourt, Uniport. We don't really have enough institutions that support all these different studies of sport in different ramifications, from sports medicine, sports management is a very big one now, sports administration. So like you said, we need to seek out these courses, these take courses. I think they even have short courses now. I'm sure if one goes on EDX or Coursera, you'll find a short course. In the meantime, if you're unable to take, say, a diploma and whatnot. And I mean, for sure, we are looking up to the likes of Upbeat, Moyo, Dolphin, and even the Aquatic Federation to offer some courses. I do believe that Nigerians are we chase the pursuit of personal development is one thing I love my people for. Nigerians love knowledge. We like to make ourselves more knowledgeable, but the issue is we don't know where to find it, particularly in sports, which is why I think a lot of people in the commentary are saying, oh, it's so good to see these women. We don't really see, we're not seeing you out there as much as we see the men. Democratization of information, someone else said. Someone is even asking, are you pioneers willing to offer mentorship? We know this, there's not enough mentoring for women, and funding. Those are the two issues that are affecting women. Funding and mentorship, because you can be funded but you still won't know what to do. You won't know whether you're walking along the right path, and you can be over mentored with no funding. So a lot of these issues that we're raising here are so on point. I think someone else here says, okay, this is with regards to Uniport. Uniport has a high performance center, and they've been very intentional about sports, and they're reaping these rewards. So the point you made, Mrs. Aliyu, about how do we collaborate with even higher institutions. I mean, it would be wonderful to see Aderoju and her swim school go to some of these universities. In fact, Aderoju herself is a scholarship awardee, to tell you that her path has been set for a long time. But many other women who are talented swimmers will not know that you can get a scholarship to do sports. And I think Aderoju was also on the role of sports in education panel, where it's a pathway. You can be talented in sports and get a scholarship that can fund your education, just as Aderoju did. Aderoju, maybe I should even give you the chance to speak on that, because people don't know that these things are available, and that's the issue. Access to information is the issue, I think.
I agree. It is access to information, and again, just the openness of mind to understand that football is not the only pathway to getting scholarships. You can't get scholarship in any sport, and I'm sure Moya can bear me witness, in any sport, as long as you're good in it. My father was national coach swimming long time, and I'd always been a competitive swimmer, and I remember then I was planning to go abroad and get a scholarship in the US. I was waiting for my documents. And then he approached me and said Unilag was hosting Nigerian University Games in 1996 and they needed swimmers. And he said, oh, would I be interested in swimming? I'm like, what am I getting in return? And they said, okay, give me a scholarship and I would get into the school, full ride. I wasn't paying for anything, accommodate, everything was being paid for. And I said, okay, sure. And we did, I did compete for them in the Nigerian University Games and in the West African University Games. I got a total of 4 gold medals, and that was it. And doing it, and those were the only 2 competitions I did, and I focused on my studies afterwards. Because it is possible even in Nigeria. We know that Nuga just finished. They were looking for swimmers, and because swimming is this kind of sport that has almost 62 medals are up for stake in swimming. So if a school wins the swim competition, they're winning the event. Do you get what I mean? And that's what gives Uniport one of the major edge as well. So you just need to explore. Don't settle for a no. Explore all the options that you can, and you can get scholarships in any sport, as long as you put your mind to it.
Nice. Moyo, as a mom of a competitive sports, you have a student athlete child. What would you say to even mothers as well who may feel, oh, I don't know if I have the time or how much time should I let my child focus on sports? You have the benefit of seeing it from 2 angles, as a person in sport and as a mother of a student athlete. What kind of advice would you give to parents, of just to capture that inclusion of young people from secondary level?
The first thing is not to give up. Not to give up, because there are lots of things that hold them back more than the things that encourage them. They have a latent passion for it, but even not all the family members are necessarily buying for the children to carry on sports. So having one person championing. So what I would encourage is, as long as one person just encourage the children, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. Moral, emotional support is so important. And on top of that, providing information, education. This is possible. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? As I said, I introduced my daughter to gymnastics because she was breaking everything in the house. She had so much energy. So much energy, everything was falling apart, and I got introduced to a gymnastics instructor, and that is how I got involved in gymnastics in the first place. And I happened to have an asset that was available, and I said, okay, instead of it being seized, let's do this gymnastics center and a recreational center. That's how my life opened up in that direction, because I was supporting my daughter. And from there, I just kept on supporting her. She's done football, we supported her. She said, okay, where she's at now, she's doing lacrosse. Okay, we supported her. Now she's got a scholarship now, also a sports scholarship as well.
Amazing. Yeah.
Scholarship to her secondary school for additional coaching. So I think the ultimate thing is support, moral support, and as best as you can, financial support, because the equipment are not cheap,
It's not cheap.
I mean, it's not golf necessarily, but they do need equipment. They need equipment to be able to train. So I think those are the very key things. And the sky is, once we're able to do that, and I hope we are, and I believe in on different platforms, we're able to give it not only to our children, but replicate it to people that are not our children, but are as well.
Valid points. So now, I mean, this has been such an insightful session, and time is not really on our side. So, what I want to do now is I want to go around the room for the last time and just take some, final remarks. And that could be in the form of advice to the audience, especially the women and girls, or suggestions, or maybe make you want to make a gesture, whatever it is. Your final remarks would be welcome at this point in time. So, Mrs. Aliyu, once more, over to you.
Am I the mommy of the house?
If you say you are, then you are.
I appreciate everybody that has been on this panel, and I learned a lot. Remember, I'm a commissioner of sports in Delta State right now. So I go around all the sports, all the sporting activities, and I support all the sporting activities. So from this summit, I would say that 3 things I would like us to do: give credit to people that have supported sports. Like FINA has been training our people in swimming. They send them to their high performance centers. Those that have excelled, they send them to their high performance centers, and they've been doing well. Uniport is also a high performance center for all the sports, and they've done well to support sport. Nile University is also, supporting sports, encouraging sports. Nile University in Abuja. And, they also have given scholarship to some of our sportsmen and women from Delta State. I would finally say Delta State government does everything to support sports. They put a good budget on it, and they support sports. They support sports by producing the sportsmen and women for Nigeria. They place them on scholarship and so on. So I would say all of us should focus on educating women in the line of sports. More education in this producing the sportsmen and women, and also career paths in the line of sports. That will take a lot of our men and women out of the streets. If they can, because they can work in Nigeria and they can work outside Nigeria in the field of sports. So that is job and career and job creation for our boys. Yes, job creation for our boys and girls. Thank you very much for inviting me.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Let's continue to do more together.
We shall. This is the beginning.
Please, my people are coming to your center to train, especially lifeguards.
Aderoju, can we hear from you? Last comments?
For sure, ma'am. We're available. We're definitely available. So again, I think this is more of an advice. Nobody would offer you the table. You need to come to the table, bring your chair and sit down, and make sure you get your own space at that table. Because again, I think because there's so much to do, we can't wait. We can't wait to be invited. We can't wait to be saying, no, nobody is asking me to do this. You have to create your own table. You have to make your own mark if you've chosen to do this, then go all the way. Chief Aliyu said it. You need to get educated. Education is the bedrock of it. Get educated. Get hungry for what it is that you want. Let nobody stop you. Nobody can even stop you if you refuse to be stopped. So again, the sky is the limit. There's so many opportunities. There's so many opportunities. I assure you, they won't even turn you away because when you bring yourself to the table and say, look, I'm available for this, then you'll be encouraged. Then, because again, everybody's looking for diversity, everybody's looking for equality and balance. So, if as a woman you are going to offer your services, please feel free to do that. And of course, if you do need help in terms of mentoring, you can reach us through Beverly. We're available to help, to mentor, to guide you on how to even sit at these tables and what you need to do. But again, you must just be ready to put in the work, because again, Chief Aliyu will say, he wasn't offered, you will go and make sure you can do the work. And because again, the expectations are high.
Yes, thank you for that. And Moyo.
My internet, okay, yes. I
Yeah.
think it's Mrs. Aliyu and Deroju, they've said it perfectly. It's just being having the tenacity to stay the course because it is a tough industry. There's a lot of it's a tough industry. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, I've seen the things in this industry I've never seen anywhere else, anywhere. And just being staying true to your values and your vision is so important in this industry. And it's encouraged me to pursue the things that and to use the platform. I mean, I will definitely reach out to Beverly once again on on some of the things we've touched on. How the platform like Upbeat can get involved in
Yeah.
doing trainings. Why can't we use our space for more training? Because the
You
space is
can.
available, and it can
Yeah.
also, be commercially successful as well.
Yeah.
So those, that I thank you for that insight, opening eyes in that direction. So I'm really grateful to
That's
be
what
here,
it's about.
and I look forward to more sessions like this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We've just shared your handles in the chat so people can follow you and learn more about your organization. So once again, a very big thank you for this star-studded panel, power women in the sports industry in Nigeria, taking things to new levels. My contact, oh yeah, Maxi B, that's me. Oh, I didn't mean to rhyme. Oh well. That's just me anyway. But yes, thank you, Mrs. Aliyu. We'll continue to stay in touch with you. There's a lot you're doing that, is of interest to many of us. So we'll definitely be staying in touch. And a big thank you to your daughter, who is my friend, for helping connect us, Amina. Aderoju, a wonderful thank you to you. You're a sister, and you need your sisters in sports. Moyo, another sister in sport as well. Trust me, when you are in, and men are very good at this, women should form their support systems. When you form these support groups, things just flow a lot easier, believe you me. Whether it's a piece of advice on legal or operational or administrative, you name it, you have your people you can reach out to directly.
Is Beverly there?
Being inclusive, be intentional about gender diversity and parity, and hopefully we can make things better. So, over to the next, the final session for this summit. It's been a roller coaster, but you can all log off now. Thank you so
Thank you
much, my
so much.
amazing
Thank
panelists.
you.
God bless you
Thank
all.
you.